What's up, everyone? We've got another awesome episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, and today we have an incredible guest. He is back. Very, very special. Introduce yourself, please, bro.
YugiNoNo, yes, maybe, perhaps, on occasion, sometimes, yay, nay. Just whatever. The kids call me Yu-Gi-Oh! Jesus for short because the list goes on and on. Like, use your synonyms and stuff. Like, my name can go on forever.
Lovely. Yes, this is actually such an awesome guest to have on the show, and I know Dan is super excited. Dan, if you guys
Very
might not
excited.
know, before we were recording, Dan was doing backflips and all sorts in the background. He was very
Yeah,
happy.
100%.
So,
I was very excited.
Yeah.
So who
YugiNoNo was
messaged
that.
me?
Oh, sorry.
Like, no, who messaged me originally? Because that message was sitting in my request for a year.
Yeah, so it was me initially who messaged you on this. It's funny, so Yeah Locked.
Yeah.
We had an episode with him ages ago, and then after the episode, we spent like an hour, and I was literally just like, he was like, just keep messaging everyone. Because loads of people, I've messaged loads of people, and they wouldn't respond. He was like, when you're a big YouTuber, you get a lot of messages, obviously, so they probably just didn't see it. So he was like, just keep messaging everyone; they'll all eventually reply. And I can't lie, he's been 100% right. Yeah.
Well, it's not even just being a big YouTuber or whatever. It's also like everything on the internet is AI and bot driven.
Yeah.
So most things on the internet are fake. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I try and do I always try and do a slightly different message to everyone as well, because I'm conscious they might think that's just a robot. It's not. It's me, guys. If you've seen this, by the way, and my message in your inbox, it's not a robot. It's me. I haven't got money for a robot. But that's not why we're here. Why we are here is let's find out a little bit more about you, YugiNoNo. So for those of us who haven't had an introduction to you, give us a bit of an introduction to yourself, your channel, and your beginning on YouTube.
Oh man, it's the same story I tell in fan mail and everything else. I got out of Yu-Gi-Oh when I was in middle school. I actually changed friend groups. Started hanging out with the skater kids and stuff, and didn't really hung out with the punk kids, skater kids, music kids, whatever. And I switched friend groups I guess sixth grade or whatever, and seventh grade. And I forgot about Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, I still liked it in the back of my head. Of course, still watched the show sometimes when I caught it on, whatever. But basically, I had forgotten about it. Completely. And I had assumed that Yu-Gi-Oh had stopped existing because I had stopped hearing about Yu-Gi-Oh and only knew about Pokemon. And that was like that for a long time. I was going to tech school, and while I was in tech school, I discovered it was Dueling Network at that time.
Yes.
Before Dueling Book, and had started playing. And I had met this guy named Mitchell, and he played Yu-Gi-Oh! And we ended up kind of getting back into it together. And I had discovered that not only were they still making had they not stopped making Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, but they were still making them like all the time, still all the time, just like they do today. Except they come out with way more today than they did at this time. But I guess my point is, when I had started playing again, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was still very, very popular. And that it had blown my mind, just how popular it was. Because I had just been so out of it for so long. And then, I guess I stopped playing for several months again. Ended up getting my own apartment, yada yada. Finished school. Still working at a food place called Panera Bread. I called it Pantera Bread. And I met this dude named Jason, and I met him through another guy named Cole, who I worked with at Pantera Bread, and he helped me move into my apartment. We all hit it off. I just met this guy. Well, Jason's helping me unpack stuff in my apartment one day, and got a job, got an apartment, still going out of school, yada yada, and this would be this is 2013, by the way. This is 2013, 2014. Yeah, This is when this happened, because I got that apartment in December of 2013, so this would be late 2013, early 2014. We're unpacking my stuff, probably still in December, because we're unpacking my boxes and stuff. And Jason comes across my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, just a stack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards I had, because while I was still in tech, I had bought some cards just to buy some, and kind of built a cool little fiend deck, a dark fiend deck with some cards I thought were cool. Trigodia was in it, and some other cool cards I thought, whatever. Yeah. Just built some stuff. I think Dark World or Hadez might have been in it. It's whatever. Just dark fiend deck, cool stuff I found. Did different things. It was a nothing burger deck, dude. I actually got I got slammed every time I went on Dueling Network because I didn't know what I was doing, But like, then he comes across this deck, and he's like, "Dude, you play Yu-Gi-Oh?" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I used to. You know, I can still, yeah, I still like Yu-Gi-Oh." And he's like, "Dude, we got to go to my house right now." And so we go to his parents' house, and he gets this fucking pile out of his old box of stuff. You know what I mean? At his parents' house, and I'm talking, he's got fusion monsters in the main deck, like, and just all kinds of crap. You know,
The
and,
playground special.
yeah, the playground special, exactly. And he's like, "No, this is the best deck of all time, man." Because we all thought that about our decks, you know, when we were kids, and then we tucked them away, and then we unpack them later, and you're like, "This is a pile of shit." Like, this doesn't do anything I thought it did. Yeah, so it was very much that. So we go back to my apartment. And like I totally demolished him because like at least my deck like was had been more recently built. I still didn't know what I was doing, but I had like refreshed on the rules and stuff at least, and knew what synchro monsters were and stuff at least. So I was able to beat him really easy, and then I guess we just started to get back in Yu-Gi-Oh from there. I will say that at one point. During before I got my apartment, I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh with my little brother, and he didn't, because I actually had to move back at home for a minute before I got that apartment, and I was like, I moved back at home, saved up money for like a month, about a month or so, and then moved back out. But during that like month, and even before that, I was trying to get my brother into Yu-Gi-Oh, and he couldn't stand it. just random tidbit. But yeah, I guess that'd be the time frame. So like it would be like early 2014, and if you look at YugiNoNo's creation date on YouTube, I don't know what it says, but it's going to be some date in early 2014. I think it is January 2014, and the reason why is because me and Jason were just in it at that time. We connected. We were. It was just this wave of nostalgia when we both knew that we both used to play all the time. In middle school. When we were really little, we had both forgot about it for so long. I had just in the past like 2 years previous, the kind of started here and there. Kind of messed around with Dueling Network. Kind of bought some cards, whatever. But at that moment, like we really clicked. And I created the channel. He already had a YouTube channel, but it was unrelated to Yu-Gi-Oh. So he started just uploading Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. His channel name was like just Jason Brock or whatever, Jason Games or whatever it was, something generic because his name's Jason. And then I just came up with the idea. I wanted we had discovered together that people were making Yu-Gi-Oh content on YouTube, and we discovered Galactic God, and we discovered that you could get big doing it. And so he kind of went like the more like I'm just going to start uploading Yu-Gi-Oh videos route, and I kind of put some thought into it and was like, I want a brand. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like what would I name it? Like what would I do with it? And I came up with the name, and I don't even think I had come up with the logo yet. I came up with the name. I came up with the idea for a Yu-Gi-Oh channel where I'm just like a character, and I'm just like being, I don't know, hype, like like just being YugiNoNo. This is before I was Yugi Jesus, it's just YugiNoNo. I just made the name to like reserve it or whatever, and that was it. I actually had forgotten about, or not forgotten about Yu-Gi-Oh, forgot about YugiNoNo for a long time because like me and Jason were actually playing a lot, so I didn't upload anything. I uploaded some deck profiles and some really dumb, badly made stuff to his channel. Yeah. But nothing was uploaded to YugiNoNo. Nothing started to be uploaded to YugiNoNo to a little bit later when I knew the game a little better, and me and him would do like these collaborations, which would be uploaded on both channels. And his channel's not around anymore, and those old videos on my channel aren't around anymore either, due to copyright reasons and just due to different stupid YouTube things. That actually, at one point, I had recovered all of those videos. This is a whole different topic, but a few years ago, I actually had recovered not all of them, but many of my old videos through just old YouTube, the old Google searches, and just old stuff on my computer and Google Drive, and the yada yada. So I had recovered a lot of it, and I uploaded it when I was cleaning my stuff. So it's gone now. I uploaded it all to YouTube, called it YugiNoNo Archives. Yeah. YouTube, and it was up for months. And then out of nowhere, YouTube comes at me and they're like, "Hey, you're a bot channel. You're like just reposting this guy YugiNoNo stuff." And I'm like, "I am YugiNoNo."
What the heck?
Yeah, all that old stuff is gone. You know, I was, like I said, cleaning out some stuff and it's re-uploaded to another channel. But anyways, but the earliest YugiNoNo stuff is actually gone forever, guys, and it sucks because it was hype. You know what I mean? Like we were like we had, like I said, it was just a ball of nostalgia. Like we just had rekindled all of that, and it was just a perfect storm. You know?
Yeah.
And actually, it actually caused a problem in our friendship. We'll probably get to that later if we're going to talk about shit show, by the way. But it actually caused a problem with our friendship. Yu-Gi-Oh did, because, you know, like I said, I had thought it out before I created YugiNoNo, and he didn't. So YugiNoNo really started to blow up. And even though we were doing videos together often, his videos weren't doing anything, and mine were. So he got like really jealous. Stopped doing Yu-Gi-Oh. He started to act like he didn't like Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time, out of his jealousy and out of him not being able to work through his emotions, and, you know, all kinds of stuff. It caused a strain in our relationship. But yeah, that's the earliest days of YugiNoNo, was like me literally forgetting that it existed for many years, you know. But like, I will say, like, when I was a kid, like when I first got into Yu-Gi-Oh, when I was in sixth grade is what it was, like, you know, fifth, sixth grade, you know, like, it'd be the summer between fifth and sixth grade, up to till sixth grade, and then to early seventh grade is what it would be for me. Like I wasn't allowed to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm in the Midwest, and my parents would go through, like, my mom decided to go through a random, crazy, unfounded religious phase for no reason.
Right.
And that's a whole other topic about how dumb Christians can be. But like, I wasn't allowed to have Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and so I hid them. And I wasn't allowed to, you know, I definitely hid them at school and stuff. I played with my friends, you know, and play, you know, like in between classes or whatever, whenever I could, you know, in the mornings when I first got to school, whatever. But I wasn't allowed to have them. And Saturday mornings, like that, I used to watch the Yu-Gi-Oh show on Saturday mornings, you know, back when Saturday morning cartoons were a thing.
Yeah.
And they would play 2 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh back to back. And that's what I did on Saturday morning. I'd wake up early, watch my 2 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'd lock my door, you know, and I'd like play with my cards on the floor, not knowing what I was doing, but I still loved it.
Yeah, that nostalgia, right? I think everyone can like relate to just wanting to get involved with the show somehow.
Yeah, like, yeah. So I've said this so many times on the channel. I don't know, like, since the beginning, really, and I've said this on fan mail so much. Like the founding of YugiNoNo is, in my Yu-Gi-Oh history, is way different than what you're going to find with other people, because other people, like, you know, got into it when they're kids and always played. You know what I mean? Always went to a local card shop, always knew of a local card shop, you know, whatever. I wasn't like that. You know, I was very much like the OG, like grinding it out on the playground, not knowing what the hell we were doing.
Yeah.
You know, and watching the show and just doing our best, and just like, yeah, that was more that I'm from that class of Yu-Gi-Oh player.
Yeah.
And I didn't get good at Yu-Gi-Oh until way later.
So, like, getting into a little bit like where the channel started, because I think for the time when you were uploading, like, quite prominently, and I think it's fair to say, I think you were getting a lot of your traffic. Like, there were actually a lot of competitively based videos. And
Yeah,
like,
I
you
played
know,
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think personally, the thing I always liked about your channel was the way that you execute stuff, because it was always very like tongue in cheek, very funny, and like you could tell sort of like your personality from those videos, and especially like with the skits with Eugene and stuff. So you mentioned you wanted to go into a brand before. What made you pick like the skits, like, and things like that? Is drama something, or like acting, something that's always been in your life, or was it just a sort of shot in the dark?
No, actually, Eugene and the characters didn't come until way later.
Okay.
Like way later. Like in the beginning, there's always comedy. You're absolutely right. Whether it be like, you know, videos where I did voices like this, you know, like talking about
like the
like, these are
MLG
the worst
stuff.
fucking cards. Yeah, exactly. Like more memey, you know, default internet humor kind of videos. That's how the humor started. On top of me just talking in front of the card while telling my own jokes. Like how you were explaining, just you know how it rolled. But like, yeah, I've always been like that, because Yu-Gi-Oh is a fucking game, dude. You know, and I'm not gonna get into it, but like, just long story short, conspiracies have directly affected my family, me and my family.
Right.
So like, I've never been one to believe things or fall for things too much unless unless I'm forced to. So yeah, like I don't take anything seriously at all, like at all, unless it needs to be taken seriously. And then there's other things that people don't take seriously that I think should be. And that's that's a whole other conversation of control of perception and social engineering and mind control, all those things.
Yeah.
But that's definitely not on topic with Yu-Gi-Oh. But
well, I don't know. There is a card called Mind Control, so there's probably some sort of,
it's true.
Probably some sort of overlap.
And Yu-Gi-Oh is very, very planted in the occult and the esoteric. If you pay attention to,
there's a lot of influences from a lot of different types of culture. You have the occult, as you mentioned, like Christianity as well.
Judaism even is very prominent. The Masonic traditions are very prominent.
Even Visas right. Yeah, even Visas right now is based on I think it's Hinduism right now.
I think so.
Yes. That would be right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff, and even like even speaking of that, like a card that I played Cyber Dragons, like what's that, Vishna or whatever? It's like a Hindu spaceship kind of thing.
Another one you're on about. I can't think of the name.
Vishnu. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But, I don't. And when it comes to like reading about other traditions or the occult, esoteric, whatever. I will say that being Western, I'm more well read into the Abrahamic traditions, Muslim and Judaistic, traditions or whatever you call them.
Yeah.
But more than I am to like Indian traditions and stuff. And also being American, I'm more familiar with American Indian traditions than I am with Indian traditions.
Yeah.
That's why I said it that way. But
no, that makes sense. I mean, we're both. I believe we're both born in Britain. I don't actually know too much about your personal life, Fabs. So I don't want to assume that you're born in Britain.
I am born here as well. Yeah.
Born and bred in it.
Yeah.
But So that's just again a very interesting story. Like how like you got into like Yu-Gi-Oh as a whole, and I do like the way that you've sort of again, like I said before, projected your personality into that. So. I want to go into a topic, and the reason I want to go into this is because when I told some of our friends we were having you on the podcast, one of my friends, I won't name who it was, said, "Oh, is Eugene going to be on there as well?" And I was like, Eugene's not a different person, right? And he was like, "What? I thought he had like a twin or something." And I was just so talk to us a little bit, Mr. No about the concept of Eugene. Where did he come from?
Well, Eugene is real. He's my real twin. We just play each other.
Right.
I see.
Right. Okay. Sorry for assuming. I do apologize.
Okay.
So like, dude, I've been playing this game with people for so long. Like nobody knows if Eugene's real or not.
Yeah.
But I know.
Was it? It's sort of like an archetypal nerd character. Eugene is, right? Is that something that was based on some of your experience?
I don't know how to start with Eugene. So I guess let's go back to what you were talking about. Like with one of your previous questions, you're asking about the earliest
memories.
Earliest memories of where my humor came from, this and that, like or how I started. Like, well, you're talking about my earliest videos is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Eugene's absent from all those. I hit a turn. This is where Eugene came from. Okay. I hit a certain point to where I needed somebody to make videos with, and I had these ideas, and I started to have the skit ideas, okay, and they started to get more grand, and I needed more people to do them with me, and getting people to do things, especially something as niche as Yu-Gi-Oh, and especially in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, where I'm at. I'm in Oklahoma. I'm in fucking Indian territory, dude. Like, people haven't even heard of Oklahoma. There's not a whole lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players around here, especially at that time. Especially not at that time. So, I just kind of it hit me one day where I was like, you know what? You're so charismatic. You can probably just play a whole different person, and I don't think anybody could tell. And so, I did, and I sent my girlfriend off to go get me. I was like setting up. I had a limited time to like record this one day or whatever, and I didn't have any shitty glasses because I wanted the character to have glasses. Yeah. And she went and I think it was like man, I can't remember which the first Eugene video is, but it's like not even me like doing the voice or anything. It's just me like standing there with glasses, and I don't even have any lines the first time you see Eugene. You know. But yeah, like I sent her off to get some shitty glasses, and I just recorded like something like this for the card wall for like an early skit. Like seriously, the first time you see Eugene, first couple times you see Eugene, there's no lines. Like then eventually start to talk like this before I had the voice figured out, so it sounds more like William Murderface from Death Clock. If you've ever seen Metalocalypse, it sounds more like that at first. But yeah, no, and then also like the name Eugene comes from just the clutch Eugene from Hey Arnold, like, or anybody, like, and my girlfriend would even call me Tyler Eugene sometimes, just to like troll me, you know what I mean? Just like, just like say my, you know what I mean? Just anytime I do something stupid, you know, whatever, something goofy, you know, whatever. Like Eugene's just based off of I cannot name like all of the characters. Like if you like watch like any dorky movie or whatever, I think even like the nerd's name in like War Games with fucking Matthew Broderick, I think the guy's name's Eugene or whatever. Like I've just seen so many movies. I cannot pinpoint any one instance of like being the example for Eugene because there's just so many. And I don't know if you guys have seen Robot Chicken. You know, the guy talks like Mortimer talks like this, like dude. All of it, dude. Like, yes, like Eugene is an amalgamation of every nerdy, dorky, cringy trope that you can imagine, and somebody who lives inside their head way too much. Yeah, and but innocent about it. And that's the key to Eugene is they has to be innocent. You know, Eugene's not mean. You know, Eugene's Eugene. Like he's just a dork. He's not. Yeah. He doesn't mean to be that way. He just is that way.
Yeah. I do like the way that you portray like the duality between the YugiNoNo character and the Eugene character, because it's obvious that like he's like Eugene's a bit of the butt of people's jokes and stuff. But in some of the videos, you've shown that like you know people do care about him. And one video actually I remember you made was, I think it was the bullying one, and I didn't expect it to be as serious as it was. And I was like, oh yeah.
I liked that video. That was really a fun one video. To make. Yeah, that was a sad one. That was a sad one to edit, fun one to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what was the inspiration behind that video? Actually, was it like just stuff that you'd seen, or was it just like a PSA sort of thing you thought needed to be out there?
I think that the people who try hard in Yu-Gi-Oh and who look. I'm just gonna get blown with it. There are cabals and market manipulation and shadier aspects to Yu-Gi-Oh. And there's the higher shadier aspects and shittier aspects of the game, and then there's the lower shittier aspects of the game. There's the lower shittier aspects is just bullies. People just acting like they're better because they have better cards or whatever. Yeah. Like, yes, you are such a fucking genius because you invested in shiny cardboard. You are a mental giant, dude. I need to bow before you. You definitely work in some government bunker, uncovering the secrets of the universe. You are. I am feeble compared. Dude, it's like that's how they expect you to treat them, dude. And when in reality, they're so slow. Yu-Gi-Oh players are so slow, which is always fascinated me because they're capable of putting together patterns in such great ways, and they're capable of learning this complicated card game. But at the end of the day, they will believe everything they see on a fucking TV and will act so slow, and they will never overcome their own emotional unintelligence and become better people. And I wish they would. I really wish they would.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because it's something that I've seen, not just even with Yu-Gi-Oh. I feel like it's with a lot of gaming, and I hate the phrase nerd culture, but I'm still going to say it, nerd culture in general.
We all know what you mean when you say it.
Where it's like there's a certain behavior, certain mentality, certain mindset that there's certain elitism that a lot of them have that doesn't translate well to just...
Elitism is a good word.
And it doesn't translate to just acting normal in a social setting. It's so weird sometimes when it's like, I'll go to the people who are the cool guys at locals are not the cool guys in the real world. They're not the people that are...
Ask him when the last time they talked to a girl was.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So just where we left off there... Mr. Nono, you were telling us a little bit about your like decisions for taking so much time out of YouTube. We were talking about the Cyber Dragon support, right?
Yeah. So I just hit this point to where I wanted to branch out and do other things, and I had already started to think of other characters and stuff. But like I started to say, it got increasingly hard because obviously Konami was increasingly hyping up this cybernetic horizon set. And I made videos on it and stuff. And I really went back and forth. That's why that probably pissed him off more. that I was like making videos and then I was just gone.
Yeah.
Slow like ramp down. It was like, you know what? And that's what I had to do because I had to like make a decision at some point. But no, I wanted to do something else. I didn't know what it was at that time, but just something. So I just quit. And at this time I had so much money saved, it didn't matter. I could do whatever I wanted for a long time.
Take a bit of you time, right?
Yeah. So that's what I did. I didn't work. I just took some time off and I don't know, started to come up with ideas for what became Shit Show. And yeah, I said bye to everybody, obviously, you know.
Yeah.
This kind of segues into another topic actually that I wanted to ask, which is so the general question is, when did it feel like you were big on YouTube? But as you say that, like you kind of left, I'm sure there were people who might have recognized you as you're walking around, or there might have been people online who might
event.
And so what was that?
I got Taco Bueno one time.
Yeah. So firstly, like at what stage in your career did it feel like you're really getting recognized, like people are knowing like this is YugiNoNo and they're like coming up to you and stuff? And then secondly, linked to that, when you took out your hiatus, how was it? Like, were you getting people walking up to you and like were you really feeling like you were missed in the community, etc., etc.?
Gosh, that's a loaded question. Like I felt like you feel like you make it in Yu-Gi-Oh when someone does a deck profile on you, or when you start, or when you pass 1,000 subscribers, or there's a lot of different benchmarks for people.
Yeah,
you know. Sure. But when I made it, and this was like, you know, when I was uploading all the time, obviously. At one point, YugiNoNo was the fastest growing Yu-Gi-Oh channel in all of Yu-Gi-Oh by a lot.
Okay.
Prior to me quitting, so it actually went from me to Doug Zeef. It went me, Simo, Doug Zeef is what it was. It's like, so mine was like really, really blowing up, and Simu like really, really started uploading. Mm-hmm. And I guess I'm getting off topic, but I guess like, man, when did I, to answer your question, when I like made it or whatever is when other like, I guess like YouTubers started to make videos about me, but and stuff. And in particular, it might have been when Galactic God had me on his channel.
Yeah, that must have been a big thing for you.
And this was still pretty early on. I don't think I had 10,000 subs yet, you know. And I was blowing up fast too. Like I don't know. Like I've been at 50,000 for so many years now, but people forget like how fast I got to 50. You know. And a big part of that was because of Galactic God, and Galactic God was still very, very popular, even you know, towards the end of his career when he was having other chumps like me on his channel, you know. And I think he doubled my subscriber count. Wow. Or he added like half of it to my count, like by letting me upload, and people liked me enough on his channel that they subscribed to me. So like I would say like that was like when I like first made it, and when I was like, okay, I could do this. And obviously I kept trucking on it and got to 50K like really, really fast. I got to 50K in less than 2 years. Wow. Or whatever. And then
2 years, 50K, yeah, that's insane.
I've been at 50K for another 10 or now or whatever. You know, but like people forget like how fast I got there, dude. It was like bam. And Simu saw it, and he started doing it, and he took off, and he passed me. And Simu passed me while I was still uploading. I was starting to ramp down, and he was still shooting way up, you know. And Doug Zeef, who I was like, I mean, he was just a little guy, you know, and he jumped up out of nowhere because he started uploading every single day. And once again, this was like, you know, this was during my ramp down, and this is when they started doing the Cybernetic Horizon promotion. So it all happened kind of around the same time. If you look at the time frame there, where like Doug Zeef and Simu were really starting to get really popular, and I was like, I just wasn't uploading every day anymore.
Wow. Yeah, and one of the interesting things I would say though, especially with respect to your subscriber count, is sometimes I think people don't know, like back then, like in YouTube, getting that many subs was insane. Like nowadays, people don't subscribe as much. And even when they subscribe, it's like you sometimes see crazy numbers. But back then, it was unheard of to get 50K. Like even to get 10K is a huge thing. Back then. Yeah. So
dude,
when
If you when I started YugiTubing, if like let's put it this way, what's his name? Alinthio? He's a Brit like you guys. I think he had like 30,000 subscribers or something at that time. Like, and he's been gone for many years now. I'm sure he has way less now because I mean he's been gone for. I mean he quit before I did. You know what I mean? He's been gone. But he had 30,000. That was considered to be really, really big. 10,000 was considered to be like a really good sized Yu-Gi-Oh channel.
Yeah.
And people forget that Mega Capital G, for like, he was stuck at like 50,000 or something like that for like, I don't know how long, dude. He was stuck at before like all of a sudden YouTube decided to like let him blow up, you know, and like let his back catalog get viewed because he was uploading he's been uploading basically every day for a long, long time. He should have been where he's at now. He should have been where he's at now when I was still uploading every day. I always felt like because he was always on it. He was on it. I mean, now his videos weren't the highest quality. It's just a screen recorder and whatever. But still, he was the only one putting out videos like that every single day before other people were doing it. And Galactic God was gone. You know, I wasn't at 50. I mean, depending on the time frame we're talking about here, you know.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh's been through a lot of interesting changes on the YouTube front.
I was gonna say, yeah. Do you think maybe perhaps part of it I would have thought is, I wouldn't say missed the mark in terms of time frame, but I would say the Yu-Gi-Oh community, I feel like, was a lot smaller back then. So it's like there was probably a saturation point that you reached where it was like most people in the community would know about you, and it's the thing I think supports that is that the fact that most Yu-Gi-Oh players are heavy on Facebook. But if we look at most of the young people now, they don't use Facebook. They think all the old people use Facebook. And that's so, true, for example, if you think about the people who you could even advertise and talk to initially back before, it probably wasn't even that big. So you had got to the point where it's like everyone knows, everyone who's got some sort of YouTube account is probably subbed to you. And then what probably happened is in the time that you quit, that's when things started to change a lot. A lot more people got online, and then that's when we start. Because even before COVID, for example, it was very uncommon to see someone in the Yu-Gi-Oh space with more than like I'd say 100K subscribers. Like that was a rare.
Yeah. When Galactic God did it, he was only the. I think he was only the second person to ever do it. I think it was. I think the first person to pass 100K was Simply Unlucky.
Yeah.
And you know what? I lied. The second one, it wasn't Galactic God. Cyber Knight passed Galactic God. The third one was Galactic God. Okay. I think if my memory serves me correctly, it was Simply Unlucky, Cyber Knight, Galactic God, and that in order to pass 100K.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like it was a rarity. And then sometime in COVID, there was a bit of a shift. I think the first time I even really noticed it was with Team Sam when he just started going absolutely crazy.
Oh, and that guy too, man. I forget about that guy.
Yeah, I think he is the biggest actual, in my opinion, he's the biggest actual Yugi tuber. Like, I guess on some worlds you could say Charlie, but I wouldn't really count him.
You know what? I think I might revise that list. I think that he also passed Galactic.
Yeah, that's just like, I don't remember who was first, but I remember he shot past everyone else. Him and Team APS basically shot past everyone else at a certain point.
I forget about APS too, but APS was around for a long time. See, APS kind of did what I did though, because like APS, but like we're more consistent about it overall though. But like Team APS used to kind of go through lulls of their uploading. Yes. They really did.
Yeah, they
because I remember liking their stuff and liking. I was actually they did skits before I did, you know, and I remember watching their skits and be like, I can do this better. You guys, I'll take it from here. You know, at one point, I mean, they've gotten better, and I've seen some of their stuff. It's gotten really good, but like I'm talking about their old, you know what I mean? Like I'm talking about like Vine days, you know, like forever ago.
Yeah, and it definitely is really cool. I don't know, it definitely is really cool to watch and see that evolution of content and see how creators have got. And I think now it's also encouraging if for small creators like myself, it's very encouraging to see kind of you guys who have done it and kind of proven that it can be done in the Yu-Gi-Oh space. And then like be like, okay, you know what, I can do that. Let me try and emulate this person, emulate that person, and try and replicate some of that content. So yeah, it is very, very encouraging.
I will say, that's one
always
thing about the Yu-Gi-Oh community. It does seem to be. Sorry to cut you off there, Mr.
No, it's okay. I was just going to add to that and just say that, like, I've gotten those messages a lot. Like, you've been a bit of inspiration and stuff, and that's something that's kept me going, even when I'm like not feeling it. But anyway,
definitely.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, I do feel like the Yu-Gi-Oh community, you could argue that it's cliquey in the sense that all communities are cliquey, but I do think in sense of, like, fans with its creators, I do think that they're very vocal about, like, showing their love for the creators. And that must have been something that really, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but was that something that made you want to come back as well as everything else that was going on?
the love for the creators? Was that the question? Like,
Yeah.
maybe want to come back. So these headphones really aren't as good as the other ones I was using.
No worries. Like, yeah, like with like fans reaching out to you and stuff like that. Was that anything that, like, it kind of made you want to come back?
I actually had to harden my heart, and it broke my heart when I left. I had to ignore people's messages and really try to, like, go on to the next thing. And it broke my heart to do it because there's people that were really sad. And no, what really made me come back is I mean, there's a whole timeline of things, but, like, after I left for 2 years, and in that 2-year gap, I did shit show, and also while in that 2-year gap I was gone, I took an IT job again, and worked up really fast, and was made manager, and I just realized all over again, like, you know what, I don't want to do IT, and I want to do YouTube. Shit show was great, but I had somebody who was completely unreliable, and I was who couldn't take direction, and who was creatively void in comparison to me. So, like, in other words, I was doing all the heavy lifting with the writing, the acting, character development, everything. I was doing all that stuff. And then, like I was telling you guys, in between setting up and stuff, it hit this point to where I was manager, and I took the job with the understanding that, because I had worked in that building before, and I took the job with the understanding that we were going to get things back to being better. We were actually going to create, like, a good help desk environment again, for the lower end help desk people and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Famous,
and that is not what happened.
Famous last words.
Yeah, it's not what happened.
Yeah.
I had to. I mean, seriously, like a movie, guys. Like, me in a room full of Indians that flew in, and like Indians on a phone in the middle of the table. Those board phones. In the middle of the table, like all that stuff. And I have these people telling me that they want to do these terrible things and they have such horrible ideas and they're totally going to work. And I'm like, no, they're not. You're awful. My boss is just agreeing with you, but after this door shuts, he's going to agree with me to try to get me to agree with you. And I'm not falling for any of this shit. All of your ideas are terrible. This is what we need to do. And I could only tell them this every day for so long before I went, bye.
Yeah.
And then I just said fuck. And that's when I came back to Yu-Gi-Oh. It's because I was like, you know what? Before I decided to, like, go do other things, Yu-Gi-Oh was pretty chill. So I just went back to making shitty Yu-Gi-Oh videos again. That's all it was.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's really all it was. I just went back to other stuff and came back to it. And now I didn't stick with it like I should have, and I still haven't stuck with it with how I should have, because I just once again I want to do other stuff. Like Yu-Gi-Oh, it's not life. It's a really cool thing, and it can be really immersive. But if you let yourself get immersed into it, how it's designed to, you're never going to get anything else done. Ever.
Yeah.
To be good at Yu-Gi-Oh is to be worse at anything else that's really applicable or can make you money. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's hard. It's hard to be good at Yu-Gi-Oh and succeed elsewhere in life. It consumes a lot. It consumes a lot of your life. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I make the joke on my channel all the time when where, like, I'll have the tryhard be like, oh, you're so awful with the game, blah 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 blah. I'm like, I would hope that you're better than me. I haven't played in so long.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself having more fun with the game, taking time out of it and coming back?
Yeah. Dude, it's way more fun than trying to stress. Like, dude, I used to be. That's part of the reason why I quit, is because, like, not only want to do other things, but I was stressed with getting Yu-Gi-Oh videos up, like, every day or almost every day. And then, like I said before, the added weight of, Konami just literally calling me out, like, we want you to promote this, you know. But once again, there's no verbal communication, like they were including me as a partnership or anything like that. It's just how advertisers treat YouTubers. Like, they expect you to catch on. They know that you're smart enough to catch on, and they expect things from you, and you do what's expected, and you get promoted or you don't. And that's really how YouTube and advertisement works. I hate it, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
But
This is a selfish question, but I'm still going to ask it. Have you ever considered? Well, I won't say. Okay, so in the context of making it on YouTube with Yu-Gi-Oh, how receptive do you think your fans would be, for example, to you pivoting to another type of content? Do you think that's something that advertisers would hate? Do you think that's something that your fans would hate? Do you think that's something that would be possible?
oh, you said a different kind of content.
Repeat that question.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I did say that. Yeah, I said different type of content. So, for example, if you wanted to pivot to a different type of content, do you think that would be something that's possible?
I'm sure that they'd be receptive to it, but I'm not going to do that to them again. Because and even though I did shit show right, so like I did it as right as you can do it. So with the channel switch, that's another thing people forget about, is that I was gonna make YugiNoNo shit show, and then I was gonna take all the YugiNoNo videos and put them on another channel to basically give myself a head start, you know, as far as subscriber count and visibility. And I didn't announce every part of my plan, but I said bye. And then way later, I started shit show. You know what I mean? Like, so there was the gap in time. You know, gap in time. But they still weren't, you know, still crazy subscriber loss. Even the people that stuck around, you know, for me and that liked what I was doing still would say that they were unsubscribing, you know, and would have rather me done a shit show channel separate, you know what I mean, instead of doing the swap. And I understand that. It's basically just learning and stuff. But when it comes to that, but to answer your question, you know, I'm sure that, my fans are great, and I'm sure they'd be receptive. But I'm not gonna do that to them again. YugiNoNo is gonna stay a Yu-Gi-Oh channel, and I'm not gonna do a shit show maneuver again and try to, you know, do the whole swap of hands. Like, no, it's like, you know, any future projects you see me in, it's gonna be. You're just gonna see me and be like, "That's YugiNoNo." Like, well, he didn't even announce that. What the fuck? You're just gonna see me, you know.
Definitely, yeah. No, I think that's a really good point you make. To be fair, about just the content switch maybe not going the way that people would have expected it to. So really, just to cap it a lot, just to catapult off the back of what Fabs was saying, what do you think the biggest lesson you've learned, like, through being on YouTube is? Because you've been on YouTube for a little longer than most. Like, you've seen a lot of the changes.
Yeah, you have to shill. You have to be a narcissistic person. You have to believe your ego is more important than other people's, and you have to be consistent. Those are the three things I learned from YouTube: is that it promotes narcissism, it promotes whatever low, I guess, like, whatever values are lying in the background that it's programmed to promote. It'll promote. And it also promotes consistency. You need to. That's really the most important thing, especially when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh, because Yu-Gi-Oh is something that's really easy to stay on topic about because it's Yu-Gi-Oh. You know, you're immersed in it, you know. But you have to be consistent about it, because if you're not consistent about it, you will get tossed out of the algorithm.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then the whole narcissistic comment. I don't know how much you might get you guys to watch, but every now and then you might see me like make a little jab at I don't know, either Yugi-tubers or other YouTubers just in general about, you know, narcissistic behavior or just I don't know, weird behavior and stuff. Right? Huh?
Just like taking fun of like stereotypes. Like,
exactly. Yeah. I just kind of joke, and like while these are stereotypes, I have met, you know, real tubers that are like the worst parts of YouTube. You know, so like I've learned, I've just learned what it promotes, and I don't know. I've just learned the kind of person who has that willpower to like push everybody aside for their own popularity and ego, and they're a black hole of a person, you know.
Yeah, it's like fame, right? Like,
it's anything for fame. Yeah, sell their mama's pussy, you know, for
the ground.
You know, that's that old phrase.
Yeah.
Some people are like that though, man. Some people really are just they'll give up everything for the bag, which I've always found is an insane like mind sort of set to have. Like, What?
It is.
That's a whole different conversation.
Narcissistic personality disorder is insanity. This all goes hand in hand. And actually, this is like completely unrelated, but I don't even talk to my own parents anymore because my mom, especially, exhibits that kind of behavior horrendously. So I don't talk to her.
Fair enough. So on that note, we're going to go into our last topic. And so our last topic is, am I the arsehole? Got an am I the arsehole topic. So I like going into am I the arsehole. Are you familiar with am I the arsehole subreddit? You don't know?
Yeah. Like you propose a scenario where both of you are kind of in the gray, but who's the asshole?
This one is interesting. I want to see what everyone's opinion on this is. So it is, am I the arsehole for being embarrassed of my cheapskate boyfriend? So I'm going to read it out quickly.
Yes.
So we've been dating for... so I'm going to read the story. Let me read the story out.
Okay.
We've been dating for about 4...
answer, but sure.
We've been dating for about 4 months, and mostly it's been good. He's cute, smart, and very successful. The only downside is that he's almost addicted to buying things that are on sale or have coupons despite being a VP at his company. I'm not talking about sometimes or even most of the time. I'd be alright with that. He never buys anything at full price. Never. He plans his cooking around what's on sale that week at grocery stores. All of his clothes are bought on sale or on clearance, even his socks and boxers. Last week we were at my friend's house for dinner and she commented on his shirt. He proudly said he got it on clearance last year for £20. I was mortified. Lastly, we don't go to any restaurant unless he finds a coupon or they're running some kind of special. Things came to a head last night when we went out to dinner. He had a digital coupon for buy one get one free. For some reason, the restaurant's computer didn't recognize the deal and the poor cashier couldn't make it work. We were holding up the crowded line because he refused to pay for both dinners. Finally, the cashier called the manager and he was busy somewhere else. So while we all waited, the people behind us were getting more and more annoyed, and so I was so embarrassed, I left him standing in line by himself and went to the car. We argued the entire drive home. We were supposed to go to the movies because he got free tickets, but I wasn't in the mood, so he dropped me off. We haven't texted today at all. When I talked to my friends about it, they didn't see a problem with it, and I found it frustrating that they didn't understand how embarrassing it is. Am I the asshole, or is this normal?
Yes, she's still the asshole, yes. Because he's just trying to be frugal. It sounds like the guy knows that everything's a scam. And if you don't think everything's a scam, once again, I would love y'all to shop at my store. Please, come shop at my store. Everything's a scam, guys. And also, sounds like she's way too concerned with what other people think. She's too concerned with appearances, and like seriously, my favorite thing. One of my it drives my girlfriend nuts, but she wouldn't like walk away from me. But like I will Giga Chad, and I will be like that person holding up the line, like like waving and winking sometimes. You know what I mean? Like if I'm in the right and I know it, and it's them being the problem. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think she's necessarily like an arsehole for it, but I do think that maybe look like. If they're together, like you have to take in any partnership, you have to take the person's feelings into account, right? And if she's like, can we just go somewhere where we don't have to spend a coupon? Like, maybe that's the kind of thing where that's her like love language or whatever. She wants to be like, okay, like I'll give you whatever you want, sort of thing. Like, because there is a sense of romance to that. I completely agree with you. And YugiNoNo in the sense that there's absolutely nothing wrong with being frugal. I pride myself on spending as little money on Yu-Gi-Oh as possible, for example. Yeah, I don't know, it's a bit difficult, but you know what? At least he's not doing some of the weird stuff they do on TLC, like cooking lasagna in the dishwasher, because that would be a smidge too far.
Something else I was going to say is like you Brits need to spend some time in the Midwest United States, because that's something that especially old people in the Midwest like to brag about, is not paying full price for anything. If you compliment especially an older person in the Midwest about anything, any article of clothing, anything in their house, if you're invited into their home and compliment them on their coffee table, it does not matter what it is, they will tell you about how they didn't pay full price for it. They will tell you a story about how they got it cheap, got it free, or whatever. It's just, I don't know why that is, but that's how people are around here.
Yeah. I don't think that's really a thing over here, but I can see. I've definitely met old people like that. I don't think either of them are assholes, really. I think she's entitled to feel the way she feels, but also he's entitled to spend his money how he chooses.
I think.
Go through.
I think she is more of an arsehole, and I think my biggest problem with her perspective is that things are expensive right now, even if you
That's
have.
fair.
So I before COVID I had one job. Now I have another job. I earn more in the job now than I earned before COVID, and yet I don't feel like I have a supreme amount of money compared to what I had before COVID, because things are expensive. And so the thing that I can't lie rubbed me wrong is because she did something that people do to me sometimes. They'll be like, "Oh, you have this job, like it's like you
Make
have this,
assumptions,
yeah,
yeah.
can't you just pay for it?" And it gets on my nerves, because it's like, you don't know my situation, you don't know what my expenses are, you don't know that I literally pay like $4,000 for electricity or something stupid a year. Like it's ridiculous. So it's like, as you're telling me, like I always compare it to like, you're looking in my wallet and then telling me how much money I have. Like, mind your own business.
Right.
So that's what
But
bothers me.
there
about
is a
it.
thing of some people need their wallets looked in, though. Let's be real. It's like, look at the things that people spend their money on.
Yeah.
This is what they should be spending their money on. So
To an extent, I agree. And the thing is, if she had mentioned, like, for example, he's really tight-fisted when it comes to dates, but he'll go and buy himself a video game, I would agree. But
Yeah,
she
that would
doesn't
have been
say-
different.
oh yeah,
she's just saying, oh, it's like he always wants to find a way to save money on when we go out on clothes and stuff, and that's what rubs me wrong. However, I think the story, for example, about him being in the line and like holding up over the coupon and stuff like that, I do get
that starts to get over to being frugal to a fault, to where you're starting to inconvenience other people.
Exactly.
And there is a time to giga chat and be in the right, and then there's a time to where it's okay to just let the line move along.
That's exactly it. Because like, at a certain point, it's like it's also secondhand embarrassment for her as well. Like, she has to be there and be like, "Oh, this is my husband," quibbling over 30p, and it's like it's not a night, or not husband, sorry, a boyfriend. But but I do think she's more of an asshole than him.
Definitely.
I think if she doesn't want it, she should spend her own money then. That's, I think, if it bothers you that much, go and pay for all the dates and see how expensive it is.
Like, if you want money, hey, there's these things I've heard of. They're called jobs, and if you go and stand in a place and like be a cashier for a while, they just give it to you. It's crazy.
Yeah, literally. So that's what I think. I think if she has that much of a problem, she should spend her own money.
Yeah. The moral of the story is, if you want your guy to spend a bit more extra money, just say. The worst thing you can say is no, and if he says no, deal with it from there.
Yeah. And if your girlfriend asks you to spend more money for no reason, then she shouldn't be your girlfriend, to be fair, because it's not going to get better.
Avoid gold diggers. Avoid gold diggers.
Yeah, that'll be a worrying question to anyone who's upset at me that I got a shirt on clearance. I'd be worried.
Being with Rainey, the same woman that I've been with for 10 years now, like she made me realize that every woman that I dated before her was an absolute bitch, absolute self-involved, lack of thought, bitch.
Yeah. So, on that lovely note, we're going to close off this episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Train. Thank you so much, YugiNoNo, for coming on. This has been an absolutely awesome episode. Before we close off, have you got any shout-outs? Have you got anything you want to say?
No, shout-outs to you guys for having me on. Thanks for being open. I guess I need to apologize to you for not, apologize to you for not checking my my messages for so long. But yeah, message requests.
We got there in the end, so we're very, very grateful to have you on, bro.
And I would love to be on again, if you guys have any friends that do this, basically I kind of just do whatever I want and work on YugiNoNo whenever I want, and sometimes, it might be a little weird to schedule with me, because we've been trying to get this
for a little bit.
For about a week now. No, seriously, it's been raining tons in Oklahoma, so I've been having to do a lot of yard work. So, that kind of dug into when we were going to record. But yeah, that's really all I have to say, is that if anybody wants to do this, I'm more available than you think I am. I'm not snooty or snobby or anything like that. I just really like being Yugi Jesus. I like to be a good influence on the community. I like to be a better influence. I like to be somebody who just likes to play the game without feeling the need to be overly zealous towards it, or to shill for it too much, or anything like that. I just try to be a better influence, and I like being a better influence. Actually, arguably, not even arguably, I actually really do like being YugiNoNo more than I like Yu-Gi-Oh! At this point. It's crazy how that works.
Lovely.
Makes sense. Makes sense. The game can be shit sometimes. But on that bombshell, we'll leave it there.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, guys. We'll talk to you all soon. This is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show. Peace.